Hello, this is Taito Memories Joukan. I think that's how it's pronounced. That's what Google Translate tells me. I always used to say it Joukan because it's spelled in Western characters as Joukan most of the time, but the better spelling, I guess, because it's like a long O, so it would be J-O with a line over the O, K-A-N. Anyway, a lot of those games that they showed in that intro are, in fact, locked from the start. This is a collection of Taito arcade games for PS2. The first of 4 they would release for the PS2 in Japan for Taito Memory Collections. Joukan means first volume in Japanese, so they would follow this one with Taito Memories Gekan, which means last volume, but then they did another two, so they called those two Taito Memories Joukan and Taito Memories Gekan, or Taito Memories II Joukan and Taito Memories II Gekan. And then they came out with, I think it was two in the West for PS2, Taito Legends and Taito Legends 2 or something. And I think Taito Legends 2 didn't have any games that weren't in the Japanese collections, but the first Taito Legends did. So I'm gonna go through all the games in the 4 Japanese Taito Memories discs, and then go over the ones in Taito Legends that aren't in the Japanese 4 discs. I've gone through these before, but I've never played through them or gone through them in PCSX2, the emulator in Windows, which is how I'm running it now, rather than on my actual PS2s. Hey, so one nice thing about that is A, I can speed up loading times, and B, these games, most of them were pretty darn blurry on PS2 hardware, but in PCSX2 you can turn off that kind of blur filtering, because it's not something that, I guess it's not something that the game itself is doing intentionally. It's just an effect of scaling the 2D game screens down, the emulated 2D graphics down for the emulated games. They just get blurred unless you turn off bilinear filtering and all that stuff in the emulator, and then they're nice and sharp. So that's cool. Not a whole lot of options. This is just stereo and mono sound levels. Autosave is on. I don't think I want to mess with that. So a bunch of those games they showed in that opening thing, did I already say this, are in fact hidden to start with. 5 of them are hidden. Why is it skipping? Oh, yeah, I guess those are the locked ones. Yeah, there's Bubble Bobble 1986. So you can't access those until you meet certain requirements, mostly like starting a certain number of games or having a certain number of playtime, possibly in certain games. I don't want to do... Wait, I thought it was 5. Maybe one's hidden. I want to make sure I don't miss any, so there's also a key command that's supposed to do it from the title screen according to GameFAQs. GameFAQs says, enter the sequence L1, R1, R2, L2, select and start on the title screen to unlock all games. So I'm just going to try that. So L1, R1, R2, L2, select start. Okay. L1, R1, R2, L2, select start. Hey, sweet little fanfare. Thanks. Yeah. Oh, it only did 4 fanfares, so maybe I'm still... So that... The locked ones were supposedly Bubble Bobble, Camel Tree... Or is it Camel Try? I don't know. Kiki Kai Kai, Metal Black, and Civalian. So let's see if we can spot. So there's Kiki Kai Kai, right? I think. There's Bubble Bobble. Now we just need Camel Try. I'm just gonna say Camel Tree. Metal Black and Civalian. That's Civalian, yeah. Civalian, yeah. So Metal Black and Camel Try. I keep saying try now. Okay, there's Camel. Try. I guess it's try. Kamaru Turai. So how about Metal Black? That's not it. Oh, that's it. Metaru Uraku. So I guess they're all here. Okay. Alright, now the other question is it going to save that way? So let's see if I go out, go to option, save, not relying on autosave for this. Okay. And then, wait a second, do I have an hour in this thing? I guess. Okay. Oh shoot, I could screw my recording if I... Well, I'm not going to worry about that. So, let's just go ahead and start. So right now these are sorted chronologically. You can change the sorting. Now it's by genre? Something? I don't know what it's sorted it by right now. That's weird. You can also like set favorites and have it just show favorites. Anyway, so let's select the top game. I'm gonna go chronologically, obviously, because I don't know what the other one even does. I don't remember how to set a favorite. Wait a second. What about triangle? No. I don't know. Okay, so we got 3 buttons. We got Shato and I think that says nothing. I don't know. Anyway, nothing. Wait, no, that's button. And that probably says nothing, but I don't know. And then that's credits. So credits on L2 for some weird reason, but whatever. So just shot. Okay. And that's all the settings we have for, well, and you can change player number from 3. So yeah, so notice how it's nice and sharp, no blurring. In my PCSX2 graphics settings, I have 2 settings that I changed. And they're both ones that basically turn off like bilinear filtering type stuff. No, that's not SL2. Okay. So because I'm old, I remember Space Invaders arcade cabinets in the wild and stuff. And so the color one, well, I suppose this was actually actual color graphics on the screen, because of course for the original Space Invaders, I think it was for the original, that was black and white, but they put colored like cellophane strips on the monitor to achieve this similar effect of coloring different bands of the aliens and stuff, different colors. But I guess this was probably an actual color graphics later. And I was never any good at Space Invaders. And I didn't even particularly like it that much because it just seemed hard. Like, at first it's not so bad, but you just get to a point where the aliens are just going so fast, and it's like, man, I'm just gonna die. I love the sound as they speed up, though. I was reading somewhere, probably Wikipedia, or no, I don't know, maybe it was on a podcast that I heard it. Oh yeah, it was on the Diary of an Arcade employee podcast. He was saying that the speed up in the original Space Invaders, the speed up of the aliens was a side effect of just the hardware could actually draw them, you know, moving faster as there were fewer of them. But it worked out nicely, so they kept it. Oh man, they drilled right through that base. Oh, I screwed up. What am I missing? Oh, dang it. That was dumb. It's got me. Hey. So yeah, it's pretty sweet not having to put up with stupid blur. And like, I mean, you know, on PS2, everything, just about every game was blurry. It was really annoying. It was just kind of unfortunate part of that generation. For the most part, it was very rare that, oh my gosh, that developer would, I gained a life just before I died there. That's what that sound had been. So it's pretty sweet to be able to eliminate that blur. Thank goodness for PCSX2. I am kind of amazed that it was just a scaling thing, like an automatic blurring as the 2D graphic was scaled down or something, like a, you know, just filtering rather than some kind of blur effect at the wow, the Y's upside down, that the developer of the PS2 game was doing intentionally. Oh, the invader comes and takes the upside down Y and brings it back right side up. I never saw that before. Was that in the original Space Invaders, or was that added for this like color version? Oh yeah, credit. I mean, the other thing about Space Invaders is that it's really slow to begin with. So you kind of got to sit through the slow part and almost die. Because you're trash at Space Invaders. And so, you know, it's just one of those games where I get to a certain spot just about every time, and then I die. And I don't really feel like I'm getting better. Then again, I've never actually sat down and tried to get better at it. Nobody said it was an easy game, right? So why would I expect to be good at it right away? But, you know, by the time I was playing arcade games, there were some kind of flashier, more immediately exciting looking ones around. Not many, maybe, at the beginning, but some. Space Invaders was looking a little long in the tooth. But, I mean, Taito made so much money on. I was looking at there's an article. Who's that guy? He did Jazz Rignall. He was a British games journalist. He's got an article. I think I just Googled like the most successful arcade game. Oh my gosh, I'm talking and not paying attention. I like how those bottom invaders look like skulls. The most successful arcade games, and it led me to this Jazz Rignall article where he lists like the how much money it appears that the top 10 arcade games actually made, and he ranks them by, you know, how much money they made. Gosh dang it. And Space Invaders is in there, and and it just made ridiculous fistfuls of dollars, because there was really nothing else like it. Like, there were arcade games. I mean, arcades themselves were not a new thing when this came out in, what, 79? I don't even know my years. This is, I mean, the first Space Invaders, the black and white one. Dang it. But the games they had were a lot of electromechanical stuff at that point, not like actual, and like, you know, stuff with like dedicated circuits and stuff to make things on the screen animate, rather than actual programmed software, so to speak. I think. I don't know. So Space Invaders would have definitely looked like something new and different, and much more sort of radical in terms of how it could just transform the television into a completely different landscape, and one that was much more reactive and adaptable to displaying all kinds of things. Oh, I hit it accidentally. That was cool. I think it was also on Diary of an Arcade Employee where he was saying that, oh, stupid. It's kind of cool how the whole screen goes red like that. It really makes you feel like you just died. You just got the heck killed out of you. I think on that podcast, the Arcade Employee host guy was saying that originally the invaders were not aliens. They were like people of some type, but they're like, you can't just shoot people. That's horrible. And so the designer was like, oh, okay, and changed it to aliens, because you can shoot aliens, right? As long as they're not our own species, just kill them all. Apparently, it's okay. Well, I mean, it's funny in that respect, in that regard, because in later Space Invaders games made by Taito that are in these Taito Memories collections, even, like, they make the aliens really cute and stuff. And it's like, well, now you're killing cute aliens. Is that still okay? Apparently it was. I mean, these guys, like, not the skull ones so much, those are scary looking, but the ones above them are pretty cute. Waving their arms up and down. Oh my gosh. I thought I was safe. I'm really bad at Space Invaders. I love the sound though. You gotta admit, the sounds are awesome. And actually, I think these sounds probably were like dedicated circuits. A lot of the early arcade games, even though the graphics were programmed, the sounds were still like dedicated circuits created to make a specific sound. Oh my gosh, I'm terrible at this game. Okay, I'm gonna give it one more precious credit. Maybe I should be picking off some of the lower invaders as well, because they're just getting me. They're getting me too fast from those lower guys. Lower skull guys is what I was thinking I would say. Let's get some of these scullions. So there's the cute ones. Like in Taito Legends uses one of those cute ones as its load screen graphic. Ooh. Oh, he blocked. Oh, stop blocking my shot. Just die. I mean, they're also invaders, right? So I guess the fact that they're invading your world gives you a, you know, it's self-defense. I missed him. Obviously. I used to think that they sped up as they got lower, but I guess it's as there are fewer of them. Although I think they do speed up as they get lower. Yeah, they're still speed. Well, I don't know. Maybe not. Okay. Okay, this is where I start dying stupidly, apparently. I mean, all the deaths in this game are kind of stupid, right? You feel like you really should not have let yourself get hit. At least so far. I mean, eventually I won't have any cover. And then maybe it'll feel more like, well, that would have been tough to avoid. But right now it feels pretty stupid to be getting hit. Although they start off so low here. I didn't even get a shot off at that guy. Ah, see, they're so low, I just can't not get shot. Gotta be a little more defensive here, I guess. Dang it. Ooh. Ooh. No. Okay, I'm not even gonna go over there. Those guys are too low. I'm just gonna die when they get much lower, aren't I? I'm just gonna wipe out the bases or something? Yeah. Just shave off the top of the bases. Just plow right through it. Could have at least shot that saucer. Yeah, I finally got that guy. Oh. Okay. Okay. Uh-oh. No. Was that 2050 my score, or was that the computer? It was just the default. Gosh dang it. This game's rough. I mean, that's just stage 2, right? Oh. I think I played like the some Atari version at a friend's house. I had a couple friends with Ataris. I think that version was probably easier. Or maybe I just suck a lot more now. And I'm gonna have to work on that. But yeah, it's so nice to actually not have the blurring effect. anymore. It's so sharp and crisp now. It's beautiful. Um, it's a pretty good game, I guess. I mean, the thing is, like, I'm finding in some of these arcade games I've been playing, like I have these Konami collections for PS1 I was just playing and so forth. It's like just these simple action games that take actually a lot of skill, and because of that, and also just because the controls are simple and intuitive, immediately understandable, it just makes you want to keep playing, because it's not like you sort of just play through the game and then you're done with the adventure and that's it. It's like, well, this is actually like, it's kind of like a sport, like something you can just keep doing and getting better at, because it's this intense test of skill, the way it's been set up with these very simple just challenges just coming at you. And I don't know, that's cool, and I wish there were more games like that. I mean, you say that, and then you think, well, there's just thousands of indie games coming out like every day, right? But, I play some of those, and I look at some of them, and they don't do what these games do. I mean, what these games do shouldn't be written off as something very basic and simple that anybody could do these days. It's like, there's definitely some genius behind the games that did it right. And it's not like I like a ton of classic arcade games either, so it was actually pretty rare for a game to hit it just right. I mean, you think about the ones that did, and it's not that many that went as big as Space Invaders. And yeah, sure, Space Invaders partly was big because it was like the first one that was sort of this more, programmed and reactive form of game, but it also is just a good game. Anyway, that's enough babbling. I don't really know what I'm talking about. Let's, it's not, I don't need my keyboard. I just have to push select. So here you can continue the game. You can, wait, what is this one? Options? Yeah, that's the options, but you can't always change them midstream. Oh, there's also, I guess this doesn't have it. Some of the games have like a second screen you can bring up with more instructions. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. What's this one do? Oh, that's setting the screen position. Yeah, this is reset game, and this is title screen. So there's an autosave. So I guess it'll save. Well, actually, I don't think Space Invaders saves. Well, I don't know if it saves high score. I'm not even sure that's high score in there was mine, though. I have to watch back. Alright, so what's next? So that Space Invaders Color was 78. I want to look this up. I'm a little confused about what Space Invaders Color was and when that came out, when Space Invaders came out. Space Invaders Color Arcade. No. No. Well, it brought up the Wikipedia page for Space Invaders. So Space Invaders was 78. Well, then what? What's this color thing, then? Because it's got to be, because I think they have the black and white version in one of these collections. Space Invaders was developed by Japanese designer Tomohiro Nishikado, who spent a year designing. A year? I mean, imagine that. It seems like such a simple game. but he spent a year designing it. He had to develop the hardware for it, so that would have taken time, but still. So it's not like something that was just some easy thing that somebody just tossed off, you know? I mean, there's a lot of thought in it. The game was a response to Atari's... Oh yeah, that I think the Arcade Employee podcast said that, response to Atari's arcade game Breakout, which seems weird at first, but then you think about, oh yeah, well, Breakout was a bunch of colored blocks in rows that you had to destroy. And it actually hadn't occurred to me that Breakout was an older game, but Breakout was 1976. Very blocky graphics, of course. Still looking for this color Space Invaders business. Oh, it says humans would have been easier to simulate, but the designer considered shooting them immoral. After seeing the release of the 1974 anime space battleship Yamato in Japan and seeing a magazine feature about Star Wars, he thought of using a space theme. He drew inspiration for the aliens from the novel by H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds, and created initial bitmap images after the octopus-like aliens. Other alien designs were modeled after squids and crabs. The game was originally titled Space Monsters after a popular song in Japan at the time, Monster, but was changed to Space Invaders by the designer's superiors. That was probably a good call. I mean, Space Monsters is okay too. So when did the whole color thing come in, though? Despite the specially developed hardware, Nishikata was unable to program the game as he wanted. The control program board was not powerful enough to display the graphics in color or move the enemies faster. So Space Invaders released in July 1978. Black and white graphics with a transparent colored overlay using strips of orange and green cellophane over certain portions of the screen. Later Japanese releases used a rainbow-colored cellophane overlay, and these were eventually followed by versions with a color monitor and electronically generated color overlay. Oh. So it was still an overlay, but it was... that's weird. It was a on-screen overlay, kind of. But it doesn't say when that happened. I mean, was it also in 78, I guess? Space Invaders had about 8 million daily players in Japan. Oh my gosh, by the end of 1979, an estimated 750,000 Space Invaders machines were installed worldwide. And that's absurd. Like, most games that were hit games didn't even sell like a tenth of that many cabinets. That's insane. So I don't think this Wikipedia article does not go into the actual date on the color version. There is a Clove article. Now, gosh dang it, this seems like a simple question to want to know. So, I guess there wasn't actually a release called Space Invaders Color. So maybe it's just not really known, like they just eventually started releasing Space Invaders cabinets that did have this electronically generated color overlay and a color monitor. So I wonder if they just like sort of circuited in a like sub circuit board that was generating this additional color information over the display. Space Invaders ROM in color, says someone on RetroArch. Space Invaders was released with native color in later versions in the arcades. This is a Reddit thread. The one you want is named Space Invaders CV version, SICV in MAME. You can also play Space Invaders Part 2, which is almost the exact same thing. No date on that though. What if there's sites that detail MAME ROM information? Let's see. MAME SICV Space Invaders CV version. That's a download site. Arcade database. Okay. Yeah, it's this Italian site I've been on before. I didn't need an about cookies info thing. Okay. Space Invaders CV version, larger ROMs. Year 1979. This Italian arcadeitalia.net says. adb.arcadeitalia.net. If I show the Space Invaders series, that's not by like, that's confusing. Okay, never mind. Oh no, how do I close that? Go away, sub page. Oh gosh, dang it. Well, looks like that's about all the info I'm gonna get. So maybe the color. The built-in color version came out in '79, but here they've left it on as '78, which is weird. Maybe it came out in Japan in '78 and the US in '79. There's a big article embedded here, but Clone CV version uses the same color monitor and color generator board as Space Invaders Part 2. So yeah, it was an add-on board that generated the colors, is what this sounds like. Where anything not black will turn red during the explosion of the player's laser base once the player has been hit by enemy fire. Oh yeah, that's a cool effect. I liked that. Okay, well, I found a little out there. Thanks, arcadeitalia.net. Space Invaders Part 2 came out in '79. The same year as this supposed CV version. doesn't differentiate by region, so I guess it was everywhere that it came out in 79. Oh no, I'm looking at Japan releases. I would have to look at the Midway upright model entry, so these are all Japanese release dates. So why does this Taito Memories thing still say 78 for the color version then? Huh, the Atari 2600 version wasn't until 83. Okay, well that's kind of a useful page. So I got through one game. Now I need to go to bed. So I played Space Invaders Color. That's exciting, and I found out a little bit about it. But I am, because this definitely says, so this, it says in katakana here, it says Space Invaders Color. And it listed under 1978, but according to that page, the Color ROM version didn't come out until the next year, 79. And they don't say anything about that here, I don't think. Let me translate. I think the text here is usually just talking about the actual play mechanics, not like the history of the game. Let me try Google Translate. What do we got here? Nah, yeah, it's just description. Move the beam cannon left and right and aim at the invaders with the shot button. That's a weird way of putting it. If all the beam cannons are destroyed, I like that name, beam cannons. Or the base is captured by invaders, the game is over. The base is captured. So that means if you lose, if you lose all your bases, do you lose? Or, oh, no, I think that's just if the invaders get to the bottom, right? If the game is for 2 players, switch players when the beam cannon is destroyed by the invaders and take turns playing the game. This says, if you shoot down UFO, points will be added as mystery points. If you score 500 points or more, you'll get an additional beam cannon. Is that 1,500? Well, that's cool. So, next episode, look forward to, what the heck game is this? I should have kept my Google Translate app out. I'm losing it. Right. I can't. I've lost my katakana ability. I used to import games. Oh, Lunar Rescue. That's a toughie. Anyway, it's Lunar Rescue. And hopefully I'll get through more than just one game. That's Alpine Ski. That's, what's that one called? Fairyland Adventure or something? Fairyland Story? Yeah. Fairyland Story. That's kind of a fun game. One, aside from the blur, one sort of difficulty I had with these Taito Memories games is that some of them had a lot of input delay, just like the controls just felt really sluggish. And, just not sharp. But it kind of varies game by game. And also, I suppose some games just, when the action has to be faster reactions, then you notice it more. But some games definitely feel pretty sharp. Some games definitely don't. Space Invaders Color, I didn't notice any particular delay feeling. I could maybe try to pretend there was delay, and that's why I sucked so bad, but I don't think that's why. Back in the day, I really thought Don Doko Don was super cool, and it is cool. It's got some flashing effects that bother me, which is why I guess I don't play it more. Some of these games I definitely don't like. I've played through Runark before. It's kind of fun. Lots of gun shooting though, so I don't know. I was thinking to myself when I was first setting up sound levels and stuff yesterday, it's like, why haven't I ever played through Pulirula, which is this game, this super cute cartoony beat 'em up, and I loaded it up and I quickly remembered that, oh, it's because it's got all kinds of flashing effects in it, so that's too bad, so I guess I won't play through that. But see, here's like a cute Space Invaders. That's Space Invaders DX. I played through this game fairly recently. Light... Is that Lightbringer? Yeah, although it had a different name in the West, but that's a pretty cool... And as far as just like dungeon adventure games go, that's actually a pretty good one. It's got some problems, but it was pretty fun. I played through as a warrior. There's a bunch more characters to play as. I don't think I'll play through it like now, but someday. I never got into Elevator Action Returns, and it is like it's got a lot of gun shooting, so I probably won't play that. But like Elevator Action, I just didn't like all the doors. I just didn't like the doors or the elevators, so that one didn't work for me. Then, unfortunately, this game ends with a couple like not so thrilling puzzle games. This collection ends with a couple puzzle games that I didn't think were that great, but who knows, maybe I'll find something to like. And like stuff like this game, I don't know, there's a lot of games here I don't really like. And like when I was first getting these collections, it was like, well, the games are all blurry, there's input delay, a lot of the games are just not so hot, and so I was kind of down on these collections for a while, really. But I mean, like, really, this collection is almost worth it just for friggin' Space Invaders, you know? I mean, God. The sad thing is, it makes me just wish, like, Taito, like, why can't you just make a new modern collection, you know, with you have more powerful hardware now, so you could have more responsive controls. You could have more accurate graphics on a higher resolution screen, you know. I mean, you wouldn't have to have the blur problems that this had on PS2 hardware. It would be amazing. Also, I hate Kiki Kai. I can't stand it. It keeps coming out on like every generation of console and stuff, and people are always like, oh, Kiki Kai, hooray. It's like, what is wrong with you people? This is a horrible game. But maybe I'm wrong. I guess I'll try it again. Oh, so Rastan Saga, I was trying to play through on the actual PS2, and how did that work? There's a continue function, you know, just as there will be when you die, and I was having trouble with the boss, and I somehow hit the wrong key, and the way the continue is set up in Rastan Saga, you can accidentally hit the wrong button instead of the right button to continue, and then it just kicks you back to the title screen, and your continue ability is gone, and so you screwed up, and you have to start over from the beginning. So that's what I did. I was pretty far in the game, and I did that. So I think I will. So now that I'm running it in an emulator, I can actually use save states and hopefully avoid that sort of problem, and hopefully play through it. So I will be trying to play through Rastan Saga once I get there. But like this game, I forget the title. I didn't like that game. Alien, don't like. This is another horizontal shooter, I think, that I never liked. Camel Try, I keep wanting to like, and I thought I liked, but I think these games kind of make me dizzy, really. Anyway, this baseball game has cool graphics. Lots of stuff to do. I'm looking forward to it. And then there's 3 more of these Japanese collections. One more with some extra games from the States that I'll be playing through. So that's 5 game discs to go through. So yeah, it's gonna keep me busy for a little bit. And then I'll be done. Then I will have no more game collections to go through. And I'll actually have to settle down and play a bunch of games that I have marked down as games that I want to actually play regularly. I do have... Why am I just babbling so much? I guess I'm just procrastinating going to bed. I do have, I think about 5 fighting games to sort of weave in here somewhere as sort of along with these Taito Memories releases, as they're the other remaining games I have in my to-do list here that was at one time massive. So I guess if I remember, I'll be working in some fighting games. I'm a little worried about ergonomic issues with the arcade stick and fighting games, but I think I can now, I worked out that I can play them sitting on my desk with the stick set on my desk. And I think that'll work if I can get my seat at the right height, but I have to raise it somehow, and I don't have an adjustable chair, so that, well, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, yeah, lots of old Taito games to play. Some I know I won't like. Some I think I will like. But who the heck knows? And hopefully... Oops, not you. You. Hopefully, when I have saved here, it'll keep those 5 games unlocked. But I guess we'll find out next time. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching. I got through Space Invaders Color, which was never actually a separate release. It was just always apparently called Space Invaders. They just started shipping out cabs with an additional subboard that piped in some color on top of the black and white graphics, so they didn't need those cellophane overlays anymore, and they had color monitors in. So that's cool. But I am confused as to why, well, they didn't put the date as 79, they kept it as 78. I think the black and white Space Invaders is in one of these collections, but I guess we'll find out. Okay, oh god, kiki kake, okay, that's it, thanks, more later, bye bye.